There you go, bro. I did
They're
it.
guys. They do magic. They are the Magic Guys.
Here we are. All right, we're live.
Yo,
we're
what's up,
live.
everybody?
We're live.
Yep.
Everyone can see and hear us. This is good. We're off to a fantastic start.
All right,
up,
so what's the
everyone?
411? We've got
Parkour.
Yeah.
We've got Doug Conn on the live. I've got my liquid fluid
Happy to
in the
be
wrong
here.
mug.
Happy to be here.
Naturally.
Bob, thank you for sharing it to a few groups. We appreciate you, sir. Very well appreciated. All right,
Now
cool.
let's get stuck into the nitty gritty of it all by turning this down.
And it's important to note that Dave turned down watching a chick flick with the wife to hang out with us. Well, Dave, don't know if you made the right decision, but thank you for being here.
It's Doug, but whatever, man. Dave,
Well,
Doug.
we were just talking right before this about, happy wife, happy life. But, it is the Magic Guys, too. So, hey, you made the right choice.
Dude.
I give you the
you
thumbs
got
up on
to
that.
yeah, it's a balance, right? Magic is a balance. It's a happy wife, happy life, and then magic.
That's it. Magic's at the end for sure.
So, Doug, you were saying you had a busy week, busy weekend. Let's hear about
How
it.
nice is that to say? How nice is that to say again, huh? Yeah, I had did a gig. It's my second one since the pandemic, so it felt good to be in front of a live paying audience. It was a sweet gig at a high school where they rotated audiences every 20 minutes. So I got to do like A material as the audiences came in, and the news of it snowballed. It was a great night. Had a great time. Got a good check, and then I've been street performing, and that's been great. Crazy town in New Orleans right now. It's like a mini Mardi Gras going on here. So.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I love those busy times.
Yeah,
I was just down in Sydney, as you know, doing streets down there just as like a little working holiday. And that was great.
Yeah, it's a good time to be, I think, certainly a busker as people come back out into the world and they don't have a lot of options for live entertainment. We're there for them. And come on down.
I mean, when they're at the bottom of the barrel, it's a good thing we're already there.
Hey, same. Yeah. And at end times, we'll be there for you too, folks. So
Nice.
the lowly variety entertainer.
Well, I
Kings, queen.
I got to do one corporate gig now that here in Brisbane we don't have to wear masks now. We had a little 7-day stint where you had to wear a mask.
Yep.
So that was nice to get out there, and now that it's cooler here too, I don't have to get as sweaty in my suit attire. So this time I was smart and I just rocked my normally I'll wear a suit jacket, but this time I wore just a vest and a button up and that kind of style. It was kind of nice just to relax and enjoy the gig with a bit of a breeze.
Nice. I'm glad to hear it, man.
Yes. You should feel confident in anything, Josh. What are you in today? You're just like a male model, dude. So whatever you wear is here.
Wow. Should we just leave you two alone?
Oh, thank you.
Oh, baby.
Boys.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh.
We should take this somewhere.
I like my men fluffy.
Josh is one of those people that is just annoyingly good looking. It's quite annoying actually, especially when I have to street perform next to him. You got me, average height, fat guy wearing a bloody food shirt, and then you got Josh every time.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, look, we can just change the view of the podcast then if we want to just, cut straight to the.
Now the quality is already better. I feel better about this. This is great. I'm over here in my Grandpa Magellan shirt. My T-shirt's probably stained, and I'm not even show ready, but chilling after I worked my butt off all week. So just here to hang out and have fun.
No, you still look happy and chirpy as ever, Doug. And I've enjoyed seeing your updates on your new tech that you've had coming in, your new table.
Hey.
New microphone.
Yeah, just right before this, I was installing this fancy swivel arm for the microphone, and I got a new webcam hooked up.
Oh, you finally got one, brother. Yeah, we're all about these fancy robot arms, man. They're good.
No doubt. Yeah, I got 2 of them, so I'm happy to have that. I'm hoping to stream with multiple camera setups. So I hooked the old webcam over here, and it's got it down, and I'm moving ahead with the streaming. Just started Twitch this week. I became an affiliate on Twitch. Who would have thought that would have ever happened? But that was actually for
I thought that
easy goal to. What? What?
Yeah, I thought they changed it recently. I remember back in the day, it was like it was kind of like YouTube where you had to earn X amount of viewers or something or followers or some shit like that,
So,
and then you would get the affiliate.
They had 6 steps, and I was able to focus and within a month accomplish all 6. I used
what are the 6 steps
to drive traffic. First, you have to admit that you're an alcoholic.
Yep.
Tough.
Is that not funny at all?
No.
It's one of the 12 steps. It's a 12-step program, not a thing. I don't know. No.
Come on, bro. It's always funny to laugh at others' misfortunes.
Look, quickly, I apologize to all the alcoholics watching the podcast. Or listening.
That would be all 11. That's Look at that, Doug. You've driven in a crowd.
Google it. It's not that hard, but I guess if you don't have, I'm fortunate now that I have a viewer base on other platforms. I can drive to Twitch and be like, hey, I'm going to do a magic show. Come watch me. And I was able to accomplish the goal. So that's happening. I also like games. I don't know if I mentioned this before. I'm a poker player and I play Hearthstone. And so I figured I could do that too. Yeah, I've been playing it since
I don't know if you probably don't know this, but I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh player myself.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah,
it's a kindred spirit in the gaming arts. Wonderful. Oh,
I play that cool. Fairly religiously, very competitively.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you play it competitively, you have to play it daily.
And me, I just watch Netflix. That's me on TV.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? You just watch Netflix and bend to Sandy's will, don't you, brother?
I don't know which sound effect to hit. I'll still hit this one.
Maybe this one. No, that's not the right one. There we go. Yeet.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I feel left out. This is why I wanted to be on OBS so I could have the sound effects going. But
hey,
you should just get yourself a Rodecaster Pro, man. That should be the next step in your journey.
Look, I got this thing, so I'm ready. I'm just not ready. This is this.
What's this thing? No, that's a Stream Deck. No. So a Rodecaster Pro.
Oh well, no, you're not talking me into more gear. No more gear. I have the Stream Deck.
You can hook up sound effects to the Stream Deck.
Yes, but
that's correct.
But
oh no,
the Rodecaster Pro, you can monitor your sound levels and check everything out. It's beautiful, man. It's a gorgeous piece.
It is much better to have.
I'll consider that
for sure.
Noted.
Yeah. And like I'm recording our audio directly into the Rodecaster, so I can upload it to the Spotify and iTunes.
So you have like a crisper audio take. And it's like you're able to control your sound levels much better when you're doing your editing. So you have like a cleaner, crisper sound rather than it automatically pairing or whatever.
I'm learning another piece of gear to consider. Yay!
Sorry, Bob Pollard said, "Sorry, buddy, you're going to need to get that piece of gear, man." Sorry, bro.
Well,
it's gonna be
right now. I'm just salivating over all the camera lenses. I got to get over this thing now, right? Like I want that Sigma lens. So
anyway, 22.
Yeah. Hey.
Your friend Robert says,
"Where's the magic talk? Are we just going to talk about tech and gear? And if we are, I'm fine with that.
That's pretty much
try and side.
I think that's pretty much all we're interested in these days.
I mean, let's be honest though. Magic and cameras and all that stuff goes hand in hand these days.
But while we are chatting, if anyone has a question unrelated to tech, feel free to answer.
Yeah, for Doug. The question for Doug.
Yeah. What have you been working on?
Look, if we're going to talk about tech, right before we started, you had a camera in your hand. So talk about tech. What did you have in your hand? What were you going to show me that you didn't show me before?
This little beast, this little beauty.
Yeah, what is that?
The G7X Mark III. So this thing. So there's a method to my madness. Okay.
Let me switch over to. Doing, there we go.
Yeah.
There's a method to my madness. So I picked this up. It's like $1,000 camera, but it's like a robust little point and shoot with like a flip screen like this, which is great, and it films in 4K, which is also pretty crazy for a point and shoot.
Damn.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Now the reason why I got this is because I don't know if you can tell, but this is actually the same size as a deck of cards.
Ooh.
Wow!
Right, and so because I fully intend to start making daily videos again. once I'm, finished with all this moving business. And so in order to do that, rather than lug around the M50 with the 16 millimeter and the microphone attached on top, which is just big and heavy, and when I'm doing my street shows, I have to put it somewhere, right, where it's not really being tended to, which is also makes me anxious. Whereas this is so small, this can fit in my pocket. I can put this in my back pocket while I'm doing my shows, and then I don't feel so anxious about it, and I can just do my stuff.
Yeah, I took my camera out today for the first time. I took it onto the pitch. I'd been shooting with my phone, but I had the camera out, and I was just like every 2 seconds,
Yeah, it feels
you really
bad,
need to have someone else with you. You need to have a partner.
You either need to have a partner, or you need to have something like this, something that you know is going to take as good a quality video. And this thing also, the other reason I was sold on this is because this actually has, most point and shoots don't have this, but this one does, and that's a mic jack.
Ooh.
So I'm able to actually, so I can hook up the Rode Go to this and have super crisp audio and brilliant footage, which means now I can make the videos throughout the day effortlessly. The lens is pretty wide too, which is great, and it also has a great zoom. It's a 1.8 to 2.8, which means it has a really good depth of field.
No doubt. Outstanding. What's the manufacturer?
It's a Canon one. It's a Canon.
Okay.
This is it's called a Canon G7X Mark III.
I look forward to seeing your first video from it to see what it's like compared to, your M50 and regular video content.
So I've already done some testing. It's as good as the M50. Just that you can't change the lenses.
Well, I look forward to seeing that with my own eyes.
Well, the M50 doesn't shoot 4K very well, so that's a drawback.
No, it doesn't.
If you want 4K.
No. So, Doug, on the screen, if you can see here, we've got a question from our buddy Bob. How long is your cups and balls routine, and how long between each performance of that routine?
So, my cup routine is very quick. It's usually 2 to 3 minutes, done as a very fast kind of ta-da piece to, get a punctuation right at the end of the show. It's basically David Williamson's Gold Cups routine from Williamson's Wonders, which I learned from that book back in the 90s. Wonderful book, which maybe David regrets publishing. It's got some great material in it. And how long between each performance of that routine? Well, my current show is a sidewalk show, and it runs about 12 minutes. So I might do 3 shows an hour. So, I don't know. Do the math if you want. I'm not going to do the math.
Seems like you and I have a similar time constraint. Mine goes for about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I've been specifically working that sidewalk pitch, number 1, because it's a great way to crank out short, quick money, but number 2, because it's a good spot to get those video shots. So, sometimes I'll work longer in a bigger spot, but that's just not conducive to that kind of thing. And sometimes I'll just do 2 tricks. It might be 5 minutes. If the crowd gets too big, I have to shut it down quickly. So,
that's walking the sidewalk. That's a good problem to have, I guess.
No, it's not. It's actually not. It's actually so frustrating.
Right now, it's working fine for me. People are generous, and if I can turn over an audience in less than 10 minutes and, instead of doing 3 sets, do 5, it depends. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think Bob asked the same question for me as well. And the answer for me is just, I just literally have a set that I know works, and I just repeat it as I feel. Sometimes I'll wait. It just depends on how fast the traffic's walking. Like if people are walking real slow, and I do a show and those same people are still there for 5 minutes, I'll just wait. They'll move on, and then I get the fresh people, And
it also sometimes depends on the pitch you're in, right? It totally depends on the space you have to work with.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, fortunately, the places in Australia, they're all big spots, right? They're mostly all big spots. And so, crowds of 200 people are kind of expected almost.
Those big spots are sparse in New Orleans. There's a couple that the bands take, and then there's one main spot that the bigger acts work. But you get 3 or 4 of those stacked up. Now you're doing 2 shows a day, which is okay if your shows are big, but no, mine's not.
It's the same in Sydney. Like if you ever try to work Pitt Street Mall, it's just there'll be like 9 dudes all lined up. It's
you got to get there at 6 a.m. and get your coffee and hunker down.
Yeah, it's very competitive. And then there's like an etiquette rule where you can't run off and work somewhere else and then come back and do your slot. So it's like,
all right, well, that's good etiquette, because some of the guys in New Orleans, they'll go queue up on the big pitch and then they'll run over to our pitches on the side, on the smaller, and try to hone in on the action. And it's like,
no, we don't let them do that here. You just can't. Like if you're not there in the lineup, you forfeit your spot. Everyone just puts in front of you. Like,
yeah. We're pretty friendly here. At least the magicians exactly in New Orleans all get along. We got a good group of guys here, so we get along.
That's great.
You have to.
Doug Roberts says, any chance of a busking book someday?
Yeah, and hey, Robert Moreland, good to see you, man. Hope you're well, brother. So, yeah, you know what? No is the short answer to that. And
okay.
Yeah, guys already did
let me say this. I did write something. I wrote a set of notes intended for the novice. This set of notes was intended to be distributed only at lectures where I was lecturing on my style of street performing, right? So I was giving the guys something to take home, and if they ever were, inclined to work an event, they'd have something to go off. So I have written something, and, it's 20, 30 pages for beginners. Would I ever profess to be the guy to write a book on busking? Nah, no, I'm not like the guy with the answers. I have my answers, and I'll be happy to share them. And you could go to conjure.com and buy that ebook for $10 if you want to read it. And that's the name of that tune. So that's probably the only thing I'll ever write on the subject. I would direct you to maybe Jimmy Talks a Lot. He has a great book called To Lure with Spectacle that covers a lot of the good subjects.
I'm still a fan of Read Between the Lines.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was like Street Magic 101. You had to read that before, and you have to learn Gazzo's cup routine also. If you don't learn that, you're not allowed to go busk. It's a requirement.
Yeah, it's a prerequisite.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. You get bonus points if you can get Gazzo to complain about that feat. So,
dude, my mentor James Essler, he was the ultimate person that Gazzo hated.
Oh, really? Did he do Gazzo
stuff?
Yeah,
because he did a strikingly similar show, and James is a Scottish man too, so he's even got like a very similar demeanor when he's presenting.
So he's doing insult comedy?
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, he's the rudest guy on the planet. He's so funny.
James is Hessler?
Cool. James Hessler?
I've seen him online, but I don't know him. I would love to have a beer with the guy, right? He looks like he could have a story or two to tell.
No, he does. He's great. And James is
he's one of the guys I've seen that is putting stuff on YouTube, and I've ignored or not watched because, again, I don't want to be influenced by, so I know he's active in the social media, in the influencer game.
Chris Ritchie's has a question for you, Doug. Every street performer has a ridiculous story. It's like street story. What's yours?
What up, Chris?
Man, I think I told my best one on the last podcast where I went to jail with Sonny Holiday.
All right, we'll take your second best weird busking story.
Man,
what's the weirdest kind of tip anyone's tried to give you?
In New Orleans? I don't know how I can speak about that on public. I've gotten some weird things in the hat, right? So,
yeah.
Man,
all right, cool. That was a solid answer.
I'll tell you, one of the saddest days was the day I turned around to do my act and pick up my bag of tricks, and it wasn't there anymore. That was a horrible event.
I still have never had that happen to me.
Good. Hope it doesn't. At least now you're at a point in your career where if it did, you could recover quickly. Probably with just a deck of cards. Someone give you a deck of cards, you're back making money in 5 minutes, right? But
exactly.
It happened to me when I was 19. And you lose a set of cups and balls and linking rings, and
you finished.
Yeah. I'm not making hundreds a day to recoup hundreds of props, but
now
I'm good. Give me a deck of cards. I'll go out there and make what I need.
So there is a really long question that our friend Dave, our Patreon Dave, wrote in, and the general gist of it is his question at the end, which is, do you think it's more important to learn every move or to master the ones which work better for the individual? I think the answer is obvious, but what do you guys think? Because you guys know a lot of different moves. So what do you think?
I think that Doug should answer this one.
I think I've answered too many questions, and I'd love to hear Josh's answer on a question. So, Josh, what do you think? Let's just pass the buck around.
We'll take turns then. We'll start with Josh, then Doug, then I'll finish.
Nice.
Are we going to just take turns passing the buck? Are you going to pass it to me now, Josh, and then I pass it to Jason?
Yes, but I think we should answer the question as circles, okay? So here's what I think.
Wait, I don't agree. I don't agree with answering the question, but I like the circles.
So we've got grandfather Doug as the big circle, and then his two sons as the mini circle.
What?
Okay.
Pretty weird. That's pretty weird, Josh. There. That's weird even for you, bro.
All right. So, kiddies, what do you think about the moves, young man? Do you use them all, or do you just use one or two for yourself?
All right. So,
all right, Josh, you silly man. Answer the question.
I think that you should dabble and learn them all, like at least start to learn them all to understand like the choreography of it, if it is valuable to the scenarios that you're performing. And then, but then, you know, once you kind of get the joke, right, you kind of get what's happening with it. If it's suiting what you're doing, then, you know, you kind of move on if it's not working for you. And for me, like there are tons of moves that I play around with when I'm sitting down and I'll you know, just for fun, because that's what I'm doing with my deck of cards, but I'm not trying to perform all the moves. So I think that you find the ones that work really good for you. Like I think he mentioned a pass in his comment. You know, I don't do a pass in my routines. I do something else because I just found for live performance I can do that without thinking. It's a lot easier for myself. So yeah, I think, you know, don't try to be performing all of them. But
you find alternatives like that through studying all the moves, right? So
yeah, exactly, right. Yes.
So what is the answer that goes hand in hand, right? The more you study, the more you learn what works for you. So I guess the answer might be learn as much as you can, and then you'll find more things that work better for you, right?
Yeah, but I think
I think it's like the more you learn, the less you do. I actually think.
Oh, I'm definitely. Let me tell you,
the more you learn, the less you do. So when you practice every move and you learn every slide, and you learn, like, you know, you take Jason England's fundamentals and you learn everything, and then all of a sudden you only do like 5 of those things. You know, learn 100 moves, only 5 of them work for you. So you just like fuck it.
I also think that comes with a small caution, which is I think magicians are too good at just learning lots of stuff and then not doing use the less amount. You know what I mean? Like, magicians are great at acquiring knowledge and not so great at applying the knowledge. And what I mean is,
but that comes down to that's the old school saying though. Like, you know, a good magician will do 1,000 tricks, and then a great magician will do 5, but perfectly.
No, absolutely, you know what I mean? Absolutely. I guess what I'm referring to is, you know, a lot of us will have a Penguin Live account, for example, and we watch all of the lectures, like so many. But like you're learning so much that you don't even take the time to actually digest it and start to learn it. And I've seen that with a couple of my friends, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I saw that lecture, blah 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 blah," and like they won't even watch the whole thing through. They'll just jump to each effect to see if it's something they want to learn, and they miss all the stories and the good nuggets that are actually in the lecture. So I guess that's a different topic in itself, but it's kind of interesting. In a way, because I remember doing an effect and my friend was like, "Oh, where did you learn that?" I'm like, "Oh, it was in this lecture." And he's like, "Oh, I watched that lecture, but I saw that trick."
I feel really blessed to have grown in an age where video was being released to the community sparingly. So a videotape might come out every month or 2 or 3, and when it came out, it was important. When Johnny Thompson put out his VHS tapes, or, you know, when Mike Amar started releasing the Easy to Master Card Miracles, and wow, you get 6 whole, you know, master card tricks. And so you got to focus on these events. And now the information glut is so big, it's hard to really process what's important anymore.
So yeah, that's what I mean.
I think though, hey, magic, there's many rooms in magic, as Jeff McBride says, and you can love magic for many reasons, and one of those is accumulating secrets, and some guys are going to do that, and if that's what you do, have fun doing it if that's what your thing is. I like doing it. I love absorbing information that I'll never use, but
yeah.
If you want to be a real magician, 5 tricks.
Can I? You know what happened to me, and it just really ties a bow on this section, is that I put up a video in a particular forum, and I was like, "Hey, this is my work on such and such," and then the magician commented back with like some really critical feedback, and I knew that this was not real world advice. I knew this was like you'd read this from a book advice, because to be able to think on the spot like this, you wouldn't be able to do it. So I simply replied saying, "Hey, thanks so much for that advice. Could you share one of your videos where you do this? I would love to see it in real time." To which they replied saying, "Oh no, I don't perform magic. I've just been learning it for 12 years. And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." That's what I thought. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Keyboard warriors. Love them. Oh, man. You know, I think like anyone that knows like some magic, the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? Where like when you don't know much, you think you know everything.
Right. All right.
Like when a layman sees a small glitch, and then
both of you are like, "I haven't learned that card trick, Dunning-Kruger."
I'm quickly Googling.
Dunning-Kruger effect. Yeah, if you know a little bit, you just assume that you know everything, right? And so then all these people have like way too much confidence in what they think they know rather than what they actually know, and it's just it's so funny to listen to them talk. Oh, man.
No doubt.
I'll be like, "Oh, if you had your pinky finger shifted slightly to the right there, it would have looked far more natural." You're like, shut up, man.
Yeah. Dustin makes a good point. Every day there's the new, this filled pro magicians, you need to learn this now. That's usually what the email says when I get a penguin magic email newsletter.
Really? I only get those sorts of things from illusionists, man. Illusionists are always saying
it's astounding how much magic is foisted upon the magic community. It's simply unbelievable how much material is being offered for sale.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I have a great sales model for magic where I don't sell anything that has been produced in the last 20 years. Now there's a magic shop. If you got a trick that's still around, that was around 20 years ago, like I saw Jason, you just bought the whole thing. You got the whole thing. Now there's a trick I'd sell, the whole thing. But what I sell,
I'm all about. Anyone that knows me knows that I love. Shut up, Josh. Anyone that knows me knows that I love old school magic. Like I'm talking like anything that's like 20 or 30 years old, stuff that people don't see anymore. Because like I do the ball and vase, for example, and it's funny because magicians will say, "Oh, this won't fool anyone because it's in the thing." It's like, no, man, I fry people with that trick. They love it. They watch it. They're like, how is that ball getting back in the vase?
Right,
good trick.
That's why I
went to this magic.
I really adore books now because no one reads them.
Yeah, I went to this magic shop in Japan, and it was like this old sort of like room hidden at the back of like all these like suit shops and stuff. And it was in there all they had was old stuff. They didn't have anything new. It was just like old school like polished magic wands and silks and cups and balls. It was great. It was awesome.
Wow.
And also, have you seen the website RNT2?
Rings and Things? Yeah.
That's probably my favorite magic website.
Yeah, you can just. Have you seen their table at a dealer's convention? Oh my!
Is it gorgeous?
At a magic convention? Boy, baby, they have all that stuff.
My oh my!
The drool is just real. Yeah. I'm ready for some new cups. Let me tell you, I ordered a set of Legends this week. I haven't bought cups in years, so I've got those coming in. Looking forward. I've only got sets of 2 because I do Williamson's routine with the 2 cups. I don't really do a 3-cup routine aside from the ones I made up for
you don't just get a combo set just because then you can have a chop as well.
Yeah, and that's one I haven't done is the chop cup. The routine I want to do is Larry Jennings' routine.
I do a Don Allen.
The Larry Jennings routine with the shot glass and the silk.
No, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the ball going through the top, landing in the thing. Yeah, it's good. It's beautiful. It's a good routine.
Yep.
No, I don't do that version though. I do I do more of like very similar to cups and balls style. I mean, you've seen me post it.
Oh,
before.
I've seen your chop cups. It's awesome. Yeah, it's very visual. Yeah, it's flamboyant. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, thanks.
No, it is like the penetration sequences, and it's very fluid.
Yeah, I try to keep all of my cups and balls stuff. This is how I think about magic because I am a street performer. I always try to think of like a routine as if someone was to walk in halfway through, would they understand what's going on?
That's a great way to think about it.
Yeah, that's how I always think about it when I do it.
I have a question for you, Jason. You know, something that I have issues with is loading the cups and balls on screen, specifically from a situation that I've seen you do successfully from the pouch. So, what's the scoop? How do you get away with making those loads so clean for the black mirror, man? It looks so good.
Honestly, I use a kangaroo pouch. I don't know. Are you using a Cellini pouch, right?
I don't use a pouch. I'll either load from my pockets or from the servant. You'll see it hanging off the back of my table, but that depends on the angles I'm working. Usually it's from my pocket.
You could probably get away with the Savant. I mean, you'll notice that my loads are aggressive at the moment of the reveal. So it's like their focus is here and the load is already done by the time that beat is finished. And that video, I had a video of the cups and balls go viral, like 2 million views or something like that.
Yeah.
And that one there, though, it's not like I just did it and then it was like, cool, it'll go viral. No, I had to reshoot it.
Is that not how it happens? Does it not just happen instantly every time?
No, I had to reshoot that bastard video a few times because like a little micro flash ruins the whole illusion, especially because orange against black is just it's just very much there.
Yeah. Let me tell you what I've discovered is worse. On the YouTube shorts, they can slow it down. So, on TikTok, there's no rewind or slow. On YouTube shorts, the struggle's real.
Yeah, they get
but guess what? I don't really care.
Yeah.
If you care enough to look that close, thank you.
You still be climbing.
Thank you for looking that close.
Yeah.
The way I see it too is like after posting videos, I reached a point where I just stopped caring if people would do that. If people like slow it down and they figure the trick out, then whatever, man. Like if you want to know that badly, then do it. Yeah, like do it. At the end of the day, you're watching my video multiple times and giving me more exposure. So whatever.
Thank you.
Go for it, dude. People do it on TikTok too. They download your video and then they put it frame by frame.
That's right.
And I've had so many people do that where they're like, I'll be doing like the linking rings and they're like, I saw a moment. And the funny thing is too, is they always say they see a gap. And then they'll be like, oh, could you show me where? Because I always watch my videos back to make sure I don't flash and stuff.
Sure.
And I always say like, show me where. And then they'll show me like a screenshot where they've like circled a reflective part of the ring where, the ring has like got a black reflection on it. They're like, that's the gap. And I'm like, oh, bro, do you really think I would just have the gap at the bottom end furthest away from my hand? Like, come on, dude. So that's always.
I saw
the thing
you
that
have
comes
the
up.
new Malero. Is it the Malero rings? Which
they're great.
Is that what they're called?
Eduardo Malero released this. They're right here, actually.
Those are on the way to my hands as well with the cups. I'm really looking forward to.
Bro,
while he's checking, Raghav just asked. That's an easy question. What close-up pad size do you recommend for practicing card and coin magic? I think the standard size is like a desk size, right? I don't know what the measurement is.
Here's the size:
12 foot.
16 by 23.
19 by 32.
Jeez, that's aggressive there. 16 by 23.
16 by 23 inches?
No, brother.
Yes.
Millimeters.
That's this
he's
size.
in the US. Nice. I'll chuck it up in the chat, Raghav, so you can see the measurements. That's a nice looking pad you got there.
It's Patrick Przecki pad.
All right, so we're going to see a demonstration from Jason here. If you're listening to this on Spotify,
no. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But I won't, just because the camera's not set up for the right sort of angle and stuff. But But I will say, Doug, his work with the rings is absolutely gorgeous. Not even like, the two selling points that they're offering with the rings, that you can display all four hanging in a chain, and then that slow visual unlink. Those aren't even the best parts.
The selling point for me, they're 5 inches. These are the 4 inches.
Yeah.
Like I can barely get my hand through that. Right?
No, the rings are the perfect size, but the actual selling point for me,
too small. These are the TCCs, and they're just not big enough. 4 inches.
I don't know if you saw it. He does this unlink where he like folds the ring and then they go ding 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 ding, and then it just pops off the bottom. It looks beautiful, man. You'll see.
Yeah,
it's such a nice thing, and it's like you can do like it's cool that he does like the slow melt through and the fact that he can hang them all in a chain and stuff, and that's fine. But it's these like little things that he's come up with. Like there's a point where he does like one link, puts the ring on, and then he links a ring on the bottom, a single ring on the bottom, so that it looks like you're actually connecting one ring at a time in a chain. And that to me looks so much better than, the old methods where you'd like link this one here and then you'd just drop the other one here and then you'd link them together. He puts them all together one by one. It's really nice. It's just so good. Awesome. You'll see what I'm talking about, man.
It actually makes me want to get into linking ring magic, seeing that when I saw that, and then when I saw Jace perform it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I hate the trick, but people love the trick so much.
Well, linking rings, really? You don't like it?
Yeah.
I actually don't like it. I just think I just like old school shit, man.
I don't like it. I think part of that's from demonstrating the trick at Magic Masters for 8 years, 20 times a day. I used to pitch Magic, and that was part of the pitch. So maybe I've done it so many times, but
that might do
all
it
those
with
times
any trick.
ingrained in me.
Yeah,
people love the linking rings. It's a strong trick. It's great for busking. For me, I think it's a perfect busking trick, so I keep it in the act.
Was you saying that the 3 points, of performance are sound, movement, and color, right?
Yeah, well, that's what Cellini said that. Yeah. I don't see any reason to argue that.
No, I still really like that thought process too.
Yeah, key elements, sure.
I never even thought of it as anything, but I think I inadvertently was doing that as well. With like my trick selection, like the whole thing is exactly that. Like the whole thing is exactly that, which is great.
Yeah,
and then,
great.
Ring on rope, also exactly that. Ring on rope routine, man. That's one of my favorites. Jeez. Can't get enough of that.
I've used the Bruce Allen, David Williamson routine. That's been in my tool bag for a long time.
Hey, Doug, can I ask you off topic to this? When we first were chatting, you shortly after that got the offer to go and pretend to be a busker, but on the NCIS.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that? How was that?
I'm in a drone shot at best. It was very disappointing and interesting, but I will be in a drone shot over Jackson Square as two bad guys are running through the square. So it's not a feature spot.
Did you have to be there all day in order for that to happen?
I knew that was going to be the case. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I generally don't take
fresh crowd.
Oh no. Did I have to actually street perform?
Yeah. Tell me you did. Come on. Damn it.
No, man. No, I just sat around all day. They moved us around, then we ate lunch, and they moved us back around. As far as
million, I
was very excited to be part of the show. It's the last episode, and hey, I was there for it. I was there, so I have that in my memories, but I won't be on TV.
So did they? I didn't realize. Did they actually shoot that series, all of it, in New Orleans? I thought they just shoot everything in like LA and just.
New Orleans has several studio locations. We're a pretty big hub for production for TV and movies. A lot of that has moved to Atlanta, Georgia recently, but New Orleans has a lot of production studios. In fact, the NCIS one is just a couple blocks from my house, and then they shoot around the city.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and that scene I was in was right in Jackson Square, where I busk regularly. So they're right in the thick of it doing the production. Yeah.
So they could have just sent a drone over that area normally, and you'd be busking with a crowd, in general. But you'd be making your busking.
Although they had to have the bad guys running. It was a chase scene, which hats off to the actors. They ran their ass off all afternoon. They were earning their money that day. It was an interesting shot.
Wow. So we'll chat for maybe a few more minutes, but if you guys have any last remarks or questions you want to put in, now's the time, my friends. But what's coming up for you, Doug? You've got a lot of tech going on. So are you finding that you're doing more of the online work now than you are busking, or are you still going out busking most of the day, coming back?
The only thing I do online is beyond YouTube and TikTok is the streams I do. So I'm not really looking for virtual work like a Zoom show or something like that. I don't really do that.
No, of course. But like, are you streaming into some of your busking time that you would normally be doing, or are you just adding that on top of your workload?
No, I've cut my busking time down to weekends only, and I'm just kind of all in on getting really the stream situation set up and learning how to use the new technology recently. You know, as far as what's coming up, I think I mentioned this last time. I'm doing an online lecture for Alakazam, their online academy next month. So I intend to put some more energy into. I'd really like to put together a program or a short course on, I think, what works well for social media magic. You know, I've learned things over the last year that some people might find helpful. So if you're watching this and if you know what Alakazam magic is, or if you're listening to this, tune into that radar, and I'll be on there next month doing a lecture and maybe street magic, talking about social media magic close up and some original things. So that's on my radar. It's
super important, especially in this day and age. I think if people can learn a lot from that. But then don't apply it, my friends.
Yeah. And Jason, you actually asked an interesting question yesterday if doing these things makes us a stronger performer. Remember, you asked me that in a thread yesterday of doing the. Yeah. And I've thought about that a couple times over the last day. And I think I kind of, maybe didn't answer it as strong as I needed to. But yeah, absolutely. Right.
It does, right?
Right. Absolutely. Every day I'm just.
I don't know about for you. I don't know about for you, but for me, I noticed that when I speak now, it's far more articulate and direct and clear than when I used to. And I didn't even know that I used to speak poorly because I hadn't watched myself so much on video, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now when I'm performing live,
the energy levels that I'm projecting, much more aware of, and even developing scripts, hooks, closes, things that make the material that I'm, developing more interesting. My day usually starts with script writing, and I never did that. I've always been kind of a natural script developer, just on the spot, working it out on the pitch or something. But nowadays, I'm putting words to paper every day. So
yeah, it's great, right? Such a weird thing.
How is that not a valuable thing, right?
It's actually become super helpful. I remember our friend Vin Yang. I don't know if you know who Vin is, Doug, but he's a magician that turned to being a keynote speaker as a magician. Lives here in Adelaide, kills it, and
not aware, but that's cool.
He became known in the community when he started a website called the Encyclopedia of Magic. Anyway, long story short, he did a TED talk and he basically explained like what we're talking about, but he summed it up as what he called sight, sound, and sync. So when you watch yourself back on video, if you watch it just the visual, no audio, you can see what your body language tells people. And then you can just listen to it, and then you can hear like what we're saying, all the filler words, and if people talk like, if they do like lip smacking, like so what I think, and then when you watch them together, you can see if it syncs up. And he gave the example of like a CEO being really excited, but like his body language is like hands in his pocket. He's like, "All right, guys, we're really excited. We're really going to hit this target," and so that doesn't match either. Yeah. So
I dig it.
Yeah, video has so many benefits. It's just so hard. It's like, I guess, cringy for us to watch ourselves back, especially in the beginning. But
yeah, it's a learning process. Now I find it educational. It's not like it's a gimme. It's not like you're just going to jump on camera and be a natural. Maybe some people are, but I think it's a learned skill. You just get better and more comfortable at it as time goes on. So, and as time goes on, it's going to become more and more important in our social media world. So, hey, fellas, if you're not, becoming camera confident, maybe now's the time to start doing it.
That's it.
Yeah, it actually shocks me how many of like the OG magic guys are not doing so much online stuff. You know, like I know Sean Farquhar is doing a TikTok now, but other than that, like he's not really that present on the internet aside from like if he does like a TV spot or, you know.
I think he's doing his virtual shows for his Hidden Wonder Theater, but that's all that I've seen.
Yeah, but it's like interesting though, because like imagine if he was like, you know, all over YouTube, all over Instagram, all over TikTok. You know what I mean? It's just like a totally different.
But you know what?
Different school.
That's, as you know, Jason. It's very hard, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very hard thing to do. Most guys aren't willing to work that hard. Most magicians are not, and even the ones that are, like Sean, willing to work that hard. Maybe it's hard to push through the hard work early on to reach the goal you want to. You know, I want 100,000 subscribers. Well, guess what, bro? You got to post a video every day for 100 days probably to get that. Are you willing to do that?
I think it comes down to Gary Vee calls it the golden handcuffs. Like if you're someone who's seen as the top of their game, you don't want to now go back to the beginning of you know, having 2 views a day and working back up to it. It's like I got to stay at this stature. Yeah, golden handcuffs.
But look, let me tell you this, though. As I was on Twitch the other day and I had 5 people watching me the whole time, I was like, I got 5 people on Twitch. You know?
I mean, as we sit in this Facebook Live, we've got 7. You know what I mean? It feels good.
Hey, we're rocking this. All right.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, 7. That's, you know, lucky 7.
I mean, one of them's Doug and the other one's Josh. So we got 5.
But the infinite value, the evergreen podcast that will live on to influence the generations. Who knows what? Yeah.
That's it. I think that's the right way to end. So look, let's end with maybe our thoughts, just random thoughts from this. So my thought would be record yourself on video and watch it. What's your thought, Doug?
I want that camera Jason has.
Yeah.
And Jason?
Get it, baby. I got this camera that Doug wants.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching the podcast. We'll see you next week. Unless you're on the Patreon, we'll see you in a couple of days. Guys, peace, love. We'll see you again. Peace out.
Ciao.
Thanks for listening. It's time for us to disappear now. But we'll see you again on the next episode of The Magic Guys.